Hello, second graders. Welcome to your comprehension skill lesson of the week. Today, we will be continuing the same comprehension skill we have worked with the last few weeks. It is main idea and key details for expository text. Remember that expository texts are stories that give real facts and information and have text features. So, the story we read right now will be an expository text. We will work together to identify some main ideas and key details. As a reminder, the main idea is the most important point an author makes about a topic. Key details tell about and support the main idea. So our key details must be about the main idea. This is the graphic organizer we will be using this week. Today, in this lesson, I will fill out this graphic organizer as we read. You will listen and follow along. And tomorrow and Friday, you will have the opportunity to fill out a graphic organizer like this one. But today, I will do it for us. You will need Your Turn Practice Book, page 143. If you do not have that book with you now, please pause this video and go find it. Once you are on page 143, the story is titled Making Music. I would like you to follow along either on the screen or in your own book as I read aloud. As I read, I'm going to be stopping and thinking about what the main idea might be and possible key details. Again, listen and follow along as I do that. At the end of this passage, there will be 3 questions that we will answer together. Let's get started. Making music. There are different ways to make music. Let's learn about some musical instruments. You might find some of these in your school music group. So, second graders, before I go on, oftentimes the author's main idea or main point will appear at the beginning of the story to set up the reading for you. What was happening in this first paragraph? What was the author telling us? Look at the first sentence. It says, there are different ways to make music. I think that's a clue telling us that the main idea might be that there are different ways to make music, maybe with different instruments, because the author also mentions musical instruments in this paragraph. So for right now, I'm going to jot down what I think is the main idea right now. And as I read, see if it continues to make sense and continues to be the main idea throughout the story. So right now, I'm going to make a prediction that the main idea is that there are many different ways to make music. So in my graphic organizer, I'm going to write, there are different ways to make music. Now again, you are not writing this down yet. You are just following along with me. Our next paragraph begins, piano. A piano is a musical instrument that has 88 keys. To play the piano, you press keys on the keyboard. This action moves wooden hammers. The hammers then hit steel strings. The strings vibrate and make sound. When the strings stop moving, the sound is discontinued. I'm going to think about this paragraph and see if I find any key details in this paragraph to support my main idea. If my main idea is that there are different ways to make music, then I want to find a detail that tells me how a piano makes music. Second graders, did you read or hear how a piano makes music? That's right. The hammers hit the steel strings inside the piano. They vibrate and make sound. So my first key detail is that a piano makes music by hammers hitting steel strings. That is one way that a musical instrument makes music. Let's keep going. Violin. A violin is in the string family of instruments. It is a hollow wooden box. It has 4 strings running from top to bottom. To play the violin, you pull the bow across the strings, or you can pluck the strings with a finger. When the strings vibrate, they make sound. All right, second graders. Now, once again, if I believe my main idea is that there are many different ways to make music, how does a violin make music? How do you make music with a violin? Can you find the clue or the key detail in this paragraph? That's right. It says, to play the violin, you pull the bow across the strings. That is the action that makes the music. So I can add that in as my second detail. A violin makes music when you pull the bow across the strings. Once again, my detail matches up with my main idea because it gives information about a way to make music. On the next page, on page 144, you see this graph. It's important to always stop and look at a graph to interpret the data. This graph's title says Instruments in School Music Group. Piano, flute, violin, trumpet. Number of instruments in group. And you can see that this is a bar graph, and the shaded in parts represent the number of instruments in a group. Flute. A flute is a woodwind instrument. It is a narrow tube with finger holes. To make a sound on the flute, you blow across an oval hole near the end. Sound bounces off the edge of the hole and through the tube. To change notes, cover and uncover the finger holes. Okay, second graders, you guessed it. Can we find the piece of information or the detail where we learn how a flute makes noise? You got it. It says to make a sound on the flute, you blow across an oval hole. A flute makes music when you blow across an oval hole. So all 3 of our key details match our main idea that there are different ways to make music, because we have given 3 different details about how 3 different instruments make music. Now that we've found our 3 key details, we're going to continue reading. Trumpet. A trumpet is a brass instrument. It is a long metal tube with a loop. One end is shaped like a bell. It has an uneven number of valves, 3. To play the trumpet, you buzz your lips into the mouthpiece. Move the vowels to change the notes. Now let's review the instruments we read about. Which would you like to play? No one can disagree. There's a whole world of music to be made. All right, second graders. So we did a wonderful job identifying 3 key details to fit our main idea. Now we are going to answer some comprehension questions, and we're going to use the graphic organizer we have already filled out to help us. You will need a pencil and page 145 in your turn practice book to complete this activity. Question number 1 reads, what is one key detail from the passage? Well, good thing that we were filling out our graphic organizer as we went, because I can simply look at my graphic organizer and choose one of the details to write down. I'm going to start with my first detail. A piano makes music by hammers hitting steel strings. That is a detail about different ways to make music. So I write it in a complete sentence, a capital letter to start and a period at the end. A piano makes music by hammers hitting steel strings. All right, second graders, moving on to number 2. Remember, if you need more time, you can always go back and pause the video. Number 2 reads, what is another key detail from the passage? Let's take a look. Our second detail read, a violin makes music when you pull the bow across the strings. That is a detail about different ways that people can make music. So I'll write it down as my answer. A violin makes music when you pull the bow across the strings. All right, now we're on to number 3. This time it's your turn. What is the main idea of the passage? Now, I've mentioned it and said it a few times already, so hopefully you remember what the main idea is. But if you cannot remember, you can always go back and rewatch this video again to hear the main idea. Please make sure that you answer in complete sentences using a capital letter to start and a period to end. Thanks for working with me today, second graders. Good luck finishing page 145.